nettTracker, because consistency matters. With full two-way integrations with QuickBooks Online, Sage Cloud Accounting and Xero. This tutorial is all about prepaid expenses. During this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how we can create a prepayment group, creating a prepayment, reviewing the projection, processing journals, review the statement and check reconciliations, and we will review the adjustments made in the accounting software. So first of all, let's take a look at an example of a profit and loss, and in the insurance category we have £1,335 all been entered against the month of January. We need to apportion this value against every single month throughout the year. Let's see how we can make those adjustments back in nettTracker. Now what you will need to do is enable the accruals and prepayments feature, which you can do at the top of the navigation bar. I've already done that in this particular company. What you will also need to do is create a prepayment group if you haven't yet done so. Now at the bottom you've got the option there, accrual and prepayment groups. I'm just going to click within there. Now I've already created a group for prepayments and I can see that it's there. Now you can actually have more than one prepayment group if you wish. If you have more than one prepayment account on your balance sheet, you'd create another. So just showing you how that would be done, I would go to the top here to create a new group. So let's say you had a separate account on your balance sheet for prepaid insurance. You would literally just give it the name there, prepaid insurance. What type is this? This is a prepaid expense type. You could add some notes in there if you wished. At that point, it's not actually connected to a balance sheet account, and that's where we need to go to manage account mappings at the top here. So I'll go to manage account mappings. So I've already mapped accrued income. So I'll just go to next. So you can see here I've got prepayments, and in the drop down I would select where that needs to be mapped to. So if I had a account for prepaid insurance, I would select it. If not, I can elect to create a new balance sheet account. So nettTracker will do that for me. Now in fact I don't want to have a separate balance sheet account for this, so I'm just going to click cancel. And if you only need the one prepayment account, then you can delete that. So I'm just going to remove that. So in this example, whether it's insurance, subscription, repairs and maintenance, any prepayment adjustment is going to be made to the same balance sheet account. So for my insurance, I want to create that adjustment. So I'm going to go to the accruals and prepayments option at the top here and create an accrual or prepayment. This is a prepaid expense and it's going to the prepayments group. I'll give this a detail, so I'm just going to put in here insurance prepaid. I can add some further notes if I wish, and then I can select the account that I'm adjusting in my profit and loss. So in this example it is insurance. If you don't see all of the accounts that you need, use the reload, the refresh button there, and you should find everything will come through that you require. So I can put the actual cost that hit the profit and loss, the actual invoice or bill date. So in that example, it was January 2021. Doesn't actually matter really too much on the day because we're just working by months. The total value for that year, or the total value for that particular supplier bill there, was 1,335. If I had already entered that cost directly to the balance sheet for prepayments, or maybe I'd already put a journal on to adjust the prepayment and it's on the balance sheet, I would tick that box. But I've not done that yet, so I'm going to let nettTracker make all of the adjustments for me. And I want to start making adjustments in this example from January 2021 It doesn't matter really too much what date you put in there, as long as it is the day in the month, and over a period of how many months. So I'm just going to click OK against that. With the prepayment saved, let's see how that affects our prepayment statement. So I'm going to the top menu here and selecting current statement, and from the drop down I'm going to accept prepaid expenses. If you have more than one prepaid expense, just take a look at your page size, because it may default to 1 and you might think I'm missing a prepayment. Now what I can see on my screen here is some prepayments that were in previously which have been released, completed. And I can also see there a insurance prepaid, the one that I've just entered, so that's starting from the 5th of January 2021, and it's in a status of pending. So that's the value that I entered, 1,335. Now what I can also see on this screen is that my current prepayment balance is 0, but I've got a balance coming through from my balance sheet of £25,607. So I've got a difference. Now the reason for that is because I've either entered some journals against that balance sheet account, or I've previously entered some supplier bills directly to the account for prepayments. Now, if we have already entered a lot of supplier invoices, bills directly to the account for prepayments, or made a lot of journal adjustments there already, perhaps we've already got them listed on a spreadsheet, we can save a lot of time by just importing those into nettTracker. On the screen is what the import template looks like. Any columns with a yellow header are mandatory. So we have the group information, the item details, class is not mandatory, optional for QuickBooks Online users, the profit and loss category that's going to be adjusted, the actual date of your supplier invoice or bill. The value here will either be the total amount of the supplier bill, or if you've already made adjustments to the balance sheet, whatever is the balance on your balance sheet at that given point in time. In this example, these 3 items have already been adjusted to the balance sheet, so I've got a yes in that column. And when do I want further journals to be processed? So when am I going to make additional journal adjustments from? And over how many months am I creating those journal adjustments? To import the list of prepayments, I'm going to go to the Prepayments menu and select the option to import prepayments. It's also from here that we will find the template that we need. So all I need to do now is choose my file that's been saved. So there are my 3 prepayments in place. I can make some little adjustments here if necessary, but I'm happy with all of the information there, so I can complete my import. So let's take another look at our statement of prepaid expenses. So I'll go to the Accruals and Prepayments menu under the current statement for prepaid expenses. And now that's been updated, so we can see that our imported prepayments are in view. They're still in the status of pending because I've not actually processed any journal adjustments in nettTracker, but the values have been added and they agree now back to the totals on the balance sheet. Before we process any journals, let's look at the projections of the adjustments to be made. So I'll look at my Accrual and Prepayments menu, go to Projections and Payments, and in this example we're looking at prepaid expenses. So I'll take a look at those. Any items in green reflect the fact that journals have already been processed. Items in red mean that I've processed those months already, but I can make retrospective adjustments. So it's going to catch up anything that I've missed previously. Items in blue reflect the months that I've not actually processed any journals for yet. If I look at the insurance prepaid, there are two lines. The negative line for £1,335 indicates the fact that I created a journal and removed it out of the profit and loss. Those items below that for materials and subscriptions and repairs, I had entered those directly onto the balance sheet, so I didn't need to make any journals for those. So I'm only seeing entries where the adjustments are being made to the profit and loss moving forward. So currently we've processed journals up to the end of June. So now what I'm going to do is process journals up to the end of October. And to do that, we're going to go to our dashboard and use this option to request company processing. So let me just put the dates in here, which is going to be October 2021. This can be automated. So I'm choosing to do it manually here by logging in, but there are automation options available, so the journals will process without you needing to log in. So I'm just going to click process. And that's now going to start creating all of the necessary journal entries I need for my fixed assets, for my prepayments and my accruals, all through to October. Now, if I just move down a little bit through the dashboard, I can see my financial year. So it's currently moving from January through to December 2021. And my next reporting period is going to end November 2021. If I've just done this manually, as I have done, I might need to just do a little refresh here. So I can see my fixed asset register value should agree back to my balance sheet. Just moving down a little bit. My prepaid expenses, my statement is now £619.50. My external balance, the same, £619.50. I can go to the accruals and prepayments menu again to check the statement for my prepaid expenses, or I can use the little shortcut which is here. So I'm going to click on prepaid expenses. Look at the statement. Against my list of prepayments, we can see the dates that they were originally adjusted, the details of each of the prepayments, what the original value was, how many months I needed to spread that cost over, which can vary, and what the average monthly charge would be, how much is released so far, and what the remaining balance is. And again, we've got a total of those prepayments, the value from the balance sheet, and a difference of 0. So constantly reconciling our prepayments back to our balance sheet. We can see that 3 of these have completed and 3 are still active. We can choose to edit. Really the only thing that I can edit against a prepayment is the name, the details. There's nothing else I can really change against that. There is the option to delete. If you do delete the entry, whatever is the current balance will automatically be adjusted through a journal. And we can choose to look at some details against our prepayments as well, which will show all of the journal entries that have been made. At the top right hand corner there is the download option, so you can download your statement into Excel if you wish and need to attach it to your working papers. If I go to the yellow calendar icon box here, if you have processed a financial year end in nettTracker, these statements are saved for each year. So I could look at the year for 2020 in this example, and that would have been the value of prepayments as of December 2020. If I just come back to my current year, that's the value of my prepayments as of October 2021. If I take a look at my profit and loss from January to October 2021, I can see that, for example, materials have the correct values processed against every single month. Insurance there as well, values being adjusted against every single month. If we look at the balance sheet account in detail for prepayments, we can see all of the journal entries being made and the total ending balance again of $619.50 that agrees back to the statements back in nettTracker. So there you have it. We've looked at how we can create a prepayment group in nettTracker, create the prepayment adjustment, review the projection of our adjustments and payments, process the required journals in nettTracker, then we can review the statement and check reconciliations, and we can review the adjustments made in our accounting software. nettTracker, because consistency matters via fixed assets, depreciation, accrued expenses, prepaid expenses, accrued income and deferred income. Integrates with QuickBooks Online, Sage Cloud Accounting and Xero. For more information, visit net-tracker.com. Any questions at all, please email support@farscape-applications.com. Thank you for watching.